All right, what's going on, everybody? This is Boxingwave. Please subscribe to the channel. I wanted to make a quick prediction video. Okay, if you didn't know, Floyd Schofield, who was supposed to be facing Shakur Stevenson this Saturday, has pulled out of the fight. Okay, he fell ill. We don't know any details of what he was sick from. We don't know anything about medical records or anything like that. We don't know exactly how he got sick, but he pulled out of the fight. There's a lot of conspiracies going on why he pulled out. Some say that he was just scared and it's a duck. Some say that he couldn't make weight. Maybe he was drained. There are two weigh-ins for this week. There's one for Wednesday and there's one for Friday, the day before the fight. Okay, so I don't know exactly why he pulled out of the fight. As far as I'm concerned, he was sick and he needed medical attention, and that's why we're not having a fight. I am not going to give you a bunch of conspiracies, okay? I just don't, because I don't want proof to come out that he was sick and that, and have to make another video apologizing for pushing a narrative that I don't even know if it's real or not, okay? I keep those kind of things to myself, off the record. All right, but that fight is not happening, and Josh Padley is the replacement opponent for Shakur Stevenson this weekend. All right. So look, Padley, I watched him for the first time when he faced Mark Chamberlain in his very last fight. He's 29 years old. He's undefeated. He has 15 wins with only 4 KOs, no losses, no draws or anything like that. He's an orthodox fighter, and I saw that fight, and I rewatched it a little while ago. And, it was a good performance because Mark Chamberlain was a prospect on the come up. He had a couple good, really highlight knockouts. I've seen him on other cards leading up to his last fight. So it was a big upset win for Josh Padley. I remember putting money down on Padley after the second round, I believe. And I actually won some money on that fight for him to get the decision on a live bet. But before that, I've never seen him fight before. Okay. And I haven't had time to do homework on him. All I know is what I've seen in that fight. And this prediction is based on that fight because Mark Chamberlain is a southpaw, a taller southpaw, who lost against him that night. And we know that Shakur Stevenson is also a southpaw who's a 3 division champion. He's 27 years old. He has 22 wins with only 10 knockouts. He's not a KO artist. But he's a lot more experienced. He's fought guys that are on a level of a Mark Chamberlain and much higher than that sense. Okay. So looking at Padley, very quick fighter, I like his technique. I think he moves extremely well. I like the feints he was getting Mark to bite off his face. Mark really didn't know what to do with him, and Mark in that fight looked very limited. He looked very one-dimensional. I did not see Mark really go to the body in that fight. He kept biting off Padley's feints. He couldn't get the timing down. He didn't execute any real good uppercuts while Padley lunged in that time to hold. It was a lot of things that I saw that Mark could have done that he just didn't do in the fight. I think he just thought that he was a bigger guy and he was going to walk down Padley and land some left hands, and that'll be it. He fought like he wanted to land one big shot, and he paid for it. He got outboxed. He got outworked. And Padley was just a smarter fighter overall. Again, good technique, good movement, fast hands, good timing. He kept changing levels. He was doing a lot of things right, and it really worked for him in that fight. But against Shakur Stevenson, it's different, and Shakur had just fought Artem Harutyunyan in his very last fight. And I know he was highly criticized in the fight because people thought it was boring because he couldn't stop him, but he was dominating him, but just couldn't put him away. Harutyunyan is a very good boxer. He's a guy that could go to war with you. He has gone to wars. He's been in wars in the past. But he's a good boxer. And everything that Padley was doing in that fight, and Harutyunyan is an orthodox fighter as well, I saw Padley doing in a fight against Mark Chamberlain. Shakur has fought and he's been in camps with fighters that fight really good fundamentals, really tricky. He's been in the ring with some of those guys and he's done well. It didn't really matter how much Haratunian fainted over and over again. It didn't matter if he was changing levels and trying to throw off Shakur's timing. Shakur is a defensive fighter first. You know, in those first 2 or 3 rounds in a Haratunian fight, like we've seen in other fights, he's more focused on what are you doing? What exactly he's picking up all the information on what you're going to do. You know, where are you throwing the punches? He's looking at the angles, he's looking at the combinations, he's checking out your timing, your speed, all of those things just to start walking forward later and attack you from all over, going to your body, you know what I mean? Countering you, walking you down, and just beating you up. Maybe not stopping you because he's not a big puncher, but Shakur is ready for anything that I've seen Padley do. And again, I know this is a last minute replacement and it's not a bad replacement, but in a sense, it may be a bad replacement because as far as the fight itself, Floyd Schofield was an experience to a lot of people. Okay. He didn't fight anyone near Shakur Stevenson's level, but he struggled in fights already. But the thing that made a fight a good fight is because Floyd is explosive. You know, he's got power, he has speed, he can change, you know, stances and all of that. He's a switch hitter and all that. So I think the fight, the matchup itself was better in the sense that Floyd has given us more action, in his previous fights. Now, all of that could have been neutralized by Shakur in the fight, and it could have been a boring fight. But we'll never know because they're not fighting now, and they probably will never fight, you know. But with Josh Padley, you know, very tricky fighter. Again, very good fundamentals, technique, good defense, you know, good counterpuncher and everything. But he's not bringing anything that Shakur hasn't seen. And I think after the first round or two, I think at some point Shakur is going to start walking him down and dig into his body and doing the things that Mark Chamberlain wasn't capable of doing in the fight. All right. I don't think there's any chance of an upset. I think unless a freak accident happens with Shakur, like we know his hands are kind of brittle. He's had injuries with his hands. I can't see Padley giving Shakur much trouble, you know. And if Shakur is struggling, he'll revert right back to just being a defensive counterpuncher, which will make the fight boring, but he will just be an accurate puncher who wouldn't get hit. You know, as far as even statistics, as far as accuracy, he's one of the highest in sport. And as far as the least to get hit in a round, he's one of the highest too. So at the end of the day, there's nothing really there that I believe that Padley could do to win the fight. And it could be one of those situations where if Shakur doesn't stop him, and it's really all about that. Shakur is going to win in my eyes. It's just like whether or not can he stop him. You know, Padley has very light feet. He moves. He has quick legs. Like he can move well. If Shakur is hunting him down, you know, will Shakur be able to trap him and apply enough punishment to where Padley will stop? I don't know if Padley's ever been knocked down. I know he's never lost a fight. And I know he took some good punishment from Mark, who was a puncher that wasn't able to drop him. You know what I mean? So with that being said, Shakur wins this fight. As far as making the bets, I think Shakur could stop him. I think there's a chance he will stop him. Will I put money on him stopping him? Probably not. I'm probably going to fall back from this fight when it comes to betting, you know, because Shakur is going to be too much of a favorite. You know, I didn't check, but he's going to be way too high of a favorite to even put any money on. And if you're going to put money on him, you're probably not going to even get much back, even if he were to stop Josh Padley. You get what I'm saying? All the money would be on Padley picking up the upset, which is very, very unlikely. You know, again, very good boxer, but there's nothing that I've seen from him that would make me think that he's doing something better than what Shakur has already seen in the opponents that he's had at 135 and at 130. You get what I'm saying? Or even at 126. Padley's good, just doesn't have it, and him not being a puncher and him being a smaller guy, I know Shakur is going to dig to his body because that's something that Mark Chamberlain didn't do. And if Shakur does stop him, I expect it to be from the body. I think it's going to go similar to how the Jamel Herring fight was, where it was a chess match until it wasn't. When Shakur is comfortable, he's going to walk you down and he's going to try to beat you up. Even if he doesn't stop you, he'll beat you up for the remaining rounds like he did against Horatunian. Just didn't get the stoppage. All right, so that's just a quick prediction. I got Shakur Stevenson winning this. I think he could pull off the stoppage, but I'm not betting on it. All right. But I don't think it's going to be a close fight. All right. So anyway, please subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys live on Saturday. Make sure you be here. Peace.